Okay, so we're back. Hello again, everybody. Balgin Stondreg here, ready to dive once more into Kingdom Death. Now, this might not be the most interesting of videos visually. It's mostly just speech. I mean, you'll just get to see me go through some paperwork, write some things down, and then get ready for the next bit, basically. However, as we know, our four bold heroes. Yeah, look, I have hands. Isn't it fun? Look at this, people. They defeated the lion. Let's say heroes. I'm going to say that a lot, actually. Probably a little bit too much. They're not truly heroic. They are merely survivors. And while the lion was defeated, Alistair here got a face full of partially digested stuff from the lion's vomit, and it drove him insane. I've checked. Insanity isn't it's not a thing that does something, right? It's a condition. So being insane won't make him get a card or something. But some situations will come up where being insane is a severe disadvantage. So it's not like totally doolally crazy. It's rather that he is mentally unstable, and so at times he will act inappropriately. Say like maybe a room's on fire, and he will stand there staring at the pretty flames rather than run away from them or something like that. I don't know. It'll come up eventually, maybe. Who knows? The other thing we have is that Urza here has a bleed token and a disorder. I've found the disorder card deck here. I'm just going to give him a quick shuffle. And I have no idea what this card is. It is binge eating disorder. So she's going to be prone to, stuffing her face, basically. Eating is the only thing that helps you escape your miserable life. You cannot depart unless you have consumed gear unless you have consumable gear in your gear grid. Okay, so basically she needs to take food with her every time she's going to go out on a hunt. Must consume if a choice to consume arises. Okay. So what I'm going to do, she also has a bleed token, which we'll deal with as well in a bit, is wish my arms were rather significantly longer, but for now, on her survivor record sheet, I will jot down something to that effect. No, my luck, of course, with the light bulb overhead and everything, you probably can't make out a word of this, but we'll see how it goes. So, disorders. Binge eating disorder. And I can tell already that, people in the comments at this point are going to be, practically screaming, "Don't be an idiot, don't do all this on camera, just give us a summary afterwards." But I just thought, because it involved drawing a card from a deck of cards, might as well, show that bit so people can't accuse me of cheating or whatever. Okay, so I've got the settlement sheet here. I've left the summary up there. I think what I'll do is have this nice white D10, move it along the steps. Okay? I believe the survivors recover from their wounds, including bleeding tokens, but I should check. They have survived after all, and it's going to be some time before the next... Okay, so settlement board. So the summary thing there is the settlement board. Right. So everyone has a gear grid, which has one founding stone, one piece of cloth. And I believe that goes into a sort of communal pool now. So I'm just going to... I've gathered these up already to save time. and effort. The lion has been defeated, and just for those of you who weren't watching last time, we have some cards, many cards, resource cards that we get, and so many in fact they go off camera. Our group of sturdy, stalwart survivors have done well. So, yeah, the survivors return. Wait. Don't I even get to name the settlement first? I must do. Yes, the settlement gets a name. Well, this is Kingdom Death after all. So, let's go with something rather bleak and hopeless, and in keeping with the style of the game. So, while I move these 4 aside, temporarily, I am going to give the settlement a name. I believe I shall call it Lost Hope. Because, you know, pretty brutal, right? Lost Hope. Oh. So now the survivors below the settlement name, but returning survivors gain +1 survival when the settlement is named. Wonderful. Award it to any returning survivors, cannot have more than the survival limit on their settlement record sheet. The survival limit appears to be 1. So let's have a look at these. She still has us. Go through them alphabetically. Alistair used his point of survival up, so he gets 1 back for the settlement being named. Urza keeps hers, but the survival limit is still 1 apparently. Lucy likewise has not used hers. Zachary has used his, and he gets it back. Okay, so these are not where you have like a starting score and a current score. It just goes up and down. So survival points are being restored. That's good, because it'll make it easier for them to survive. You know. What next? Returning survivors heal any existing light and heavy injuries by raising any filled boxes on their record sheets. Permanent injuries are not healed. I presume the bleeding tokens then, being part of the injuries, get to go away as well. So I'll take this. And I get to restore health to people. Oh joy. This is good, this is good. Alistair's injury there is gone. I don't know if the armour is destroyed when its points are used or not. Because that would be cruel, right? That would be vicious. I mean, admittedly, it's going through the armour first. You know, when something hits you, if you've got armour on, the armour's going to get hit first and take the damage first. However, this does not mean that it is completely destroyed when the armour is breached. You know, this wouldn't be an issue if the kind, benevolent one who, you know, saw fit to pour ink in their eyes, of all things, also had not given them towels, you know, so yeah, if he had not given them towels, it wouldn't be an issue. And so, towel-clad, I realise that we obviously now on the survivors return phase. Because, hey, they're returning, right? Returning survivors, add the names of returning survivors to the population list on the settlement record sheet. Oh, joy! So on we're back. It is. Okay, so we have our list. Lucy, and Zachary. Not going to add any notes just yet, although there were some pretty amazing moments in the earlier encounter. Oh, and we have a few more towel armor to restore. And injuries. Yeah. Any more? Yeah. There are more injuries to cure. Okay. Oh, yep. Headshot. Very important. Brain damage as well. Everyone took brain damage. Well, not brain damage, you know, but their minds were shattered by the horrific sights and sounds they endured. Well, not quite shattered. It was just like they were brought to the brink. Okay, they were brought to the brink of madness. Alistair went a step further because he got a lion to puke all over his face. Yeah, and enjoyed it apparently. Okay, so their names are now among the population. Hooray! I feel good. Sort of. Right. Gain endeavours. I'm going to have to find an endeavour card deck now, aren't I? Survivors have a creative energy. Yeah. Every surviving, returning survivor gains one endeavour. They're not recorded because if I don't use them by the end of this video, they're kind of wasted. So, 4. We have, count them, 4 endeavours. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like fingers on a hand. Of the forearm of some disturbing lion mutant creature with its disturbingly human-like hands. Right, settlement event. The first day. So, it's not always the first day, but the first time round, it is. Okay. So there's settlement event. There is no current settlement event. So, the first day card, put it here. So let's see. The first day settlement event will help set up your settlement. It is the first event in a new campaign. Well, in any new campaign, if you want to read the exact wording. Paraphrasing, there's nothing wrong with it. It's totally fine, you know. Okay. The survivors wander drawn to a blooming light in the distance. They find the serene comfort of a towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep, instinctual level, they know this area is safe, and they will make it their home. Roll d10 to determine starting population. I can do that. 4 will give us 8 unnamed survivors. Right. That's a lot. Plus returning survivor, plus those 4 is obviously 12 population. Do I have to name those 8 people now, or do they gain names when they are put into action, as it were? Right. Return to the settlement section for first story, and proceed to update the death count. Okay. Nobody died. Our lovely death count on the front there doesn't change. Not an issue. The first day settlement event card will not be used again during this campaign. Do not include it in your settlement event deck. Fine, I won't then. Okay, wonderful. That was nice and quick. First day determines the population of your settlement. It was always played when a new settlement was created. Follow the rules and record. Yeah, in every following settlement event phase, an event will occur. Okay, update the death count. Nobody died. Go me! Well, go luck mostly. But I feel okay. Update the timeline. Alright. What do we got? The extinguishing of a single lantern in the lantern horde happens. So the lanterns over time apparently start to go out. As they do, it grows dark. Time passes. Something of these like the clock candles, you know? You burn a candle for a period of time, before clocks. Ways of measuring time. The lanterns. So maybe a lantern burns for a whole year. This is how the survivors track time. It is called a lantern year. Update the lantern year on the second record sheet now by checking for the first lantern year on the timeline. Okay, so number 1. Tick. Returning survivors. Do I have to write that down there as well? I may have to. Returning survivors give the survivors the... Hey, whoa. Trigger story events. After the timeline is updated, trigger any story events listed for that year. In this case, returning survivors means trigger this story event now. Returning survivors... gives your survivors the language innovation. Builds your settlement's innovation deck and adds the Lantern Horde settlement to location. Turn to it and follow its rules, then return it to community. Okay, so... Innovations. I get to have fun looking for that deck now, don't I? Innovation's going to be... No, they're not, are they? They're going to be a deck of cards. Are these? Nope, these are not innovations. Sorry, you have to bear with me while I look for this. This first time playing the game, you know, it's going to take me a while to find stuff. Hey, they are survivors. They know nothing. They will discover things at a slow and measured pace, apparently. It takes time to develop language. And it's not among this handful of cards. So, while I seek for innovations, what should I talk about? Well, I'm thinking naming conventions. Oh. Ooh. Okay. I've just found a card that was misplaced. Yeah. See, of course, now I'm likely to find some events. These aren't innovations, are they? Nope. No. Okay then. Of course, the interesting bit you're waiting for me to get to is to laying out all the wonderful resources I got and seeing what I can make with them. And I'm looking forward to it too, you know? I really am. But I'm currently looking for these confounded innovation cards, which continue to elude me. But the good news is, I've searched through almost about 3/4 of the cards in the game now, so it can't take too long. Hopefully I will find them soon. Hello again. Bargain Stormdrake here with some more Kingdom Death settlement building. Yeah, so shortly after I ended the last video, I found the very things that I sought. And I need a better camera, basically, because it doesn't like recording more than about 10 minutes at a time. So I've done a little rearrangement over here. So here we have the settlement stuff. We have 4 new settlement locations that have been discovered. The Lantern Horde, the Organ Grinder, the Bonesmith, and the Skinnery, which we will use to build things with. We have the language innovation and an innovation deck containing the consequences of language. Apparently language has consequences. Yeah, you say something nasty, people might not like it. And we're currently on the, just over the fold there at the back, the development phase before we'll get through onto the, that bit. Yeah, eloquent, I know. Prepare departing survivors. Yeah, so, first things first, I gained 4 endeavours, 1 for each of my 4 survivors, because they survived, they came back. They're going to make the attempt, that is, the endeavour, to do stuff. So, the Lantern Horde came for free, and 3 of the endeavours were spent to build the organ grinder, the bonesmith, and the skinnery. This leaves 1 endeavour left over. Now, because it is still the first story, the introduction to the campaign, as it were, I am advised to have the last endeavour be spent, to have one of the survivors, where are we? Attempt an augury at the organ grinder. So we're going to like grind up some guts and look at some stuff. So we have a nice little fun table there. Let's see, the organ grinder. Now I did roll this off camera, but what the hell? Just for you guys, I'm going to roll it all over again, even though I got such a spectacular result. So, the organ grinder. The augury, I get to roll a d10. You know what, I'll use the white one because it'll be super extra visible. This can lead to intimacy, and intimacy can lead to pregnancy and childbirth. If that is the case, I'd like to nominate Ezra there, because she's been overeating a lot anyway, and she doesn't want to go out, she doesn't have food to take with her, which means I'm going to have to look at consumable items to make so she can go out, or she could stay home and look after a child. Who knows? 2. Oh dear, that's not good, is it? Let's see. Lose 1 resource from a settlement. If you do, gain +1 understanding. Okay, so I have some resources here. I should probably look at the consumable items I can make. Organ. Yeah, they mostly seem... Let's see, fecal salve and monster grease are not consumable, surely. Fecal salve? Who would want to consume that? Do we have any consumable pieces of equipment she can be given? She may be limited to staying home until this issue can be resolved. That's binge eating for you. Let's see, the bonesmith is mostly weapons. The skinnery is mostly armour, to be honest. And the Lantern Horde seems to be used mainly to reveal innovations from the innovation deck. So what have I got here? I have a sinew, a shimmering mane. I could discard that to get 2 basic hide, but I'm thinking if I save the shimmering mane, Alistair there, I mean he deserves, Alistair and Urza. Alistair, the insane lion gut puncher, and Urza, the brain damaged, the overeater. They deserve the most to rest and become parents. The other 2, Zachary and Lucy, have not quite yet earned some ridiculous... We have the lion's dongly danglies. We all know what they are, right? It's not that complicated. And we have the lion's tail. Now those, I'm going to think there's some sort of settlement location that is used to build and create lion-related bits of gear. We have 1, 2, 3 pieces of monster hide and 2 pieces of bone. It looks like the hide is used for armour and the bone for weapons. If I discard 1 monster hide, that takes me down to 2 of each. And then Urza will gain +1 understanding. Oh joy, oh bliss, actually understanding is probably a good thing. Understanding, so I just fill in a box here, and when I get 2 more, bonus, boom! One of these amazing things will happen, which I'll probably get to look up later. Ah. Well, isn't that a relief? Right then. Whew. So, of course, you know, any intimacy and childbirth that should occur would be for the good of the settlement, or maybe not. We'll see. Oh joy, what do I get to do now? What do I get to do now? I suspect I get to do more building. Craft gear. I get to make stuff. Gear is listed on each location along with its cost, when resources are spent, craft gear, archive, return. Yeah, so basically I'm thinking, the bonesmith, and I should examine my options here, right? Yes, nothing like uncomfortable grunts, eh? Right. We have little gear cards. Well, that's useful. The gear cards appear to have been marked with the appropriate settlement location at which they can be crafted. That's actually really useful, you know? So, rather than having to go through, you know, like a massive deck looking for everything, I can just go look at the back of the cards. In fact, what might be really useful would be if, say, each of these settlement locations had like a space on it to plonk its little deck. Well, more stone circle cards. I mean, hey, you know, I'm from Britain. I'm all for, you know, rebuilding Stonehenge for these little guys, you know. There's some more stone circle out of the way, and we have some more scenery cards. There's a lot of them, you know. So, the intent here is to create some useful, suitable equipment which will allow my my petty individuals to survive the horrors of the darkness. And of course, my main concern actually, while looking at... oh dear God. This is bad news. This is bad news. Essentially, if Urza's going to have something to munch on while she's going out surviving, I have a horrible feeling the only ingredient I have with which I can create some item for her to consume would happen to be the lion's testicles. Clearly a prized delicacy in this tribe of individuals. Oh crikey. Yeah, it's going to get pretty freaky in there, isn't it? I mean, I know resources are harsh and everything, and wow. Just wow. One quick miracle cut and one adjustment to focus later. This will hopefully be the last part of the settlement phase. Welcome back. Balgin Stondreg here with some more Kingdom Death settlement building. Oh joy. Actually, it's very nearly done. So I just checked the survivors, the 8 new survivors who've been added to the settlement. I have to decide if they're men or women. I think boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, straight down the line, 4 of each, even split, is probably best for the future of the society in terms of reproduction. I've had a look through the settlement, the cards I can build here, the pieces of equipment, and through my available resources. And what I think I'm going to do is these lion-specific resources here, the sinew, the tail, the mane. As I said, I think I'm saving the mane to see if I can make some kind of headdress for Alistair for his amazing lion gut striking. Yeah, and they're not even on camera, are they? Right, yeah. So these lion-specific resources, I'm going to save them, right? I'm going to keep them for if I get to develop some kind of location that allows me to build lion-specific pieces of equipment, because I know they do exist in the game. So this leaves me with 2 pieces of hide for the rawhide, the skinnery, 2 pieces of bone for the bonesmith, and 1 pair of rather delightfully, lion's testicles for the organ grinder. And I think I'd better make some gear so my poor survivors stand a chance out there. I've looked through the options, and I think when it comes to the bonesmith, I can make bone axes. They're good if you can get critical hits. Critical hits are like 1 in 10. That ain't gonna happen with me rolling the dice, so no, sorry. I'd love to make some bone axes further down the line, but for now it's kind of brutal. You know, resources are minimal. Let's go with the safer options. We have the bone blades, lovely sharp, dangerous sword. I think the bone axe does a lot of damage on a regular hit, actually. The bone blade is frail, so it can break. As is the bone axe, actually. So if they hit particularly tough points of a monster, they can break. I'm actually thinking make 2 bone daggers. But then they're quite low damage, actually. So I'm going to go 1 monster bone to make a bone dagger, because of something my brain worked out earlier, and 1 monster bone. Oh, the bone axe requires a monster bone and an organ. See, well in that case, yeah, I'm gonna make a bone blade. What the hell? Because someone's gonna want to use that, right? It's like a sword, but it's thin. It's made from, filed down, shaved down cat's bones that they just like ground across the floor to slowly grind it into shape. Well, giant cat, admittedly, it's a lion, right? So those resources can go away for a moment. And I'm going to go from the skinnery, with my 2 monster hides here. I'm thinking, right, if I do this correctly, 1 rawhide vest, that'll cost 1 hide. And then 1 rawhide headband. And I'll explain why in a moment, but there goes the other one, right? Because I've spotted, rather cunningly, when I do the gear grids for the next monster hunt. I'll just move these aside for a moment and reach across here to produce one of these. We have our standard 3x3 gear grid, right? And looking at what we just made here, we have a rawhide vest which has a synergy so here we have rawhide vest. It's got a red bit and a blue bit, and if I can get the red bit and blue bit to match up on those exact sides, get +1 evasion. +1 evasion is really good. It means monsters can't hit you very easily. So if I put that, say, there, obviously I want a red thing. Oh look, here's a bone dagger, right? That goes together quite nicely. But I also need a blue thing up here, and there's blue on the bottom of this rawhide headband. Isn't that great? And if I want, I could put the bone blade there instead. But I'm kind of thinking 1 person's going to get 2 pieces of armour, so I might as well give them the dagger. Bone blade can go to someone else. Now, who has earned these? That's a good question. That I'll have to think on. I think Alistair the Insane and Urza have had the most hard time so far. So they may get the... But it does mean that the other two, Lucy and Zachary, just have to make do with the, you know, a towel and a chunk of rock, basically. But then they have to earn... So yeah, I'll make a call on that at some point. Okay, let's see. Lion's testicles. What can I make with these? I can make fecal salve or monster grease. Right. Fecal salve, well, see... The dangly bits go round one end, the kind of feces comes out the... Well, yeah, they're not too far away, but I'm kind of thinking... I go for the monster grease on this one. Oh, good. This gets worse, okay. I'm going to make monster grease. Because it is consumable. And Urza wants to eat something consumable. So we have grease that came from a lion's testicles. I think we all know what that is. And she wants to rub that in. Look, I should put a disclaimer on here. You know, Kingdom Death contains adult issues and material, and if you're not comfortable with that, do not watch. But yes, so apparently, if the thought of some tiny, inanimate little plastic woman rubbing giant semen all over her face and licking it and stuff turns you on, then you'd probably like some pretty disturbing artwork anyway, and if it doesn't, then you're a decent human being like me. So, well, I don't know, if I was really decent, I probably wouldn't have thought of it. So yeah, monster grease for her. That'll give her +1 evasion if she doesn't eat it before they... Oh, dear God. Yeah. And +1 evasion is really good, as we already discovered. So actually, this way I can have one person with +1 evasion from monster grease. Right. And then one person with a bone dagger, rawhide vest, and rawhide headband gaining another 1 evasion. So that'll be 2 who are quite hard to hit. So then the bone blade can go on a 3rd person. So Urza gets the monster grease. Alistair might get the bone blade, actually, because he's just like super aggressive and insane now and wants to experience lion vomit all over again. I don't think there's too much more to do here. Basically, I've spent all the resources, right? So that's a good thing, yeah? Well, yeah, prepare departing survivors. So the survivors are going to go off and hunt another lion, because that's the only quarry available to them. Only white lion is available. More monsters will be added to the quarry list through story events. Any eligible return size never come. So yeah, I can send off these 4. I can draw from the new population if I don't want Urza to eat the lion cum. Record and archive resources. I've used all the resources in the beginning. Clean up the play area, prepare for the hunt. So awesome. I'll go do that and be back in a while. But thanks for watching. Bye bye for now. Hello everyone. Valgenstondrig here with another Kingdom Death settlement building phase bit. Just a little bit of admin really before I commence with the hunt phase. I messed up, right? When I was setting up the hunt, I completely forgot to do the returning survivors phase. Consequently, Lucy here spoke the first word, and given the fact that she has 3 companions and there's a rather large lion involved, it may or may not have been wardrobe. So consequently she gained 1 point of courage, 1 point of understanding, and must miss the next hunt phase. So Lucy will not be taking part in the next hunt. Bye bye Lucy. Her place will be taken by Velia. Now Velia has some nice leathery gear and some bone daggers. We'll get onto that in a bit, because I also happen to have some resources left over. I have the lion's tail, the sinew, and the lion's mane. And see, originally I knew there was going to be a campaign of 25 years and 6 monsters that I would get to face over those years, and I thought, okay, so 6 divided by 24 divided by 6 is like 4 each, right? But having now looked at the sheet, it seems that half of those are boss monsters who will only turn up during Nemesis events or special random occasions, so I'm actually going to get to face most of the monsters like 7 or 8 times, the normal ones, in which case these become less valuable because I can get them again. So I can turn in the Shimmering Mane for 2 hide resources, so I think I'd do that, and the Lion's Tail for 1 more hide. Again, I think I'd do that, because that would allow me to build rawhide boots, rawhide headband, and another rawhide vest. So looking at our survivors going off on the next excursion, we'll have one here with rawhide headband, rawhide vest, a bit of cloth, and a bone dagger. That will be Velia. We'll have one here, Alistair will have his bone blade and a bit of cloth. We'll have Zachary up there with a founding stone and a bit of cloth. And then Urza will also have a founding stone and a bit of cloth and her monster grease, which she will consume. Yeah. So basically I'm thinking put the boots on Velia to help round out her armour set a little bit. No, she's brand new. She hasn't really earned them yet. Put them on Alistair, because he's starting out a bit, right? So just go plonk these over there. There's no particular synergies that are being blocked. And then Zachary can have the vest and the headband. It won't complete the synergy yet, but it's part way there. And essentially what I've done now is armour my survivors so they will have a better chance of taking down the next lion and getting more resources, bettering the settlement and so on, right? So that's good, yeah? Okay, I'll end this one now and go to the next hunt phase. Bye bye for now.